Here, Dr. John Chumo, he's the CEO of Mama Doing Good. We were just talking earlier on about climate change, and I want us to now focus on children. Yeah. I'll ask the question in two parts. How do you think children are affected by climate change, and what are you doing as Mama Doing Good to make sure that kids are not affected and the fight against it?
Okay, thank you so much. You are aware that, as I say, that when you empower the women, the society gets empowered.
Right.
And you know who normally stays with the children are mothers,
the women.
You know.
Yes.
And therefore, we need to ensure that as we empower the women, we also look at the children. Mm-hmm. But before I go there, I wanted to tell you the other ways that we are actually empowering the women mm-hmm. is transiting from the current use of biomass to clean cooking, okay. Because we are aware that, as I said, the most of our women today, almost over 70%, are actually still using firewood, and therefore we want to see if we can actually, empower them and encourage them and bring awareness to the new technologies where they can actually be able to do LPG, they can actually put stoves, biocars and the like, so that they can be able to transit from, fossil related energy, mm-hmm. and therefore appreciate the new clean energy. And we're actually working with other stakeholders to ensure that at least Ministry of Energy and others, to ensure that our women and our mothers are able to actually appreciate the new technologies, mm-hmm. so that they can also catch up with the global north or the outside world, to ensure that they can also be able to appreciate. And therefore, that's one of the things we're actually doing. And then the other thing is about waste management. Mm-hmm. We know we have a lot of waste in this country, right. But we also want to ensure that the women participate, especially the groups, participate by reducing the waste, recycling, and also reusing. Mm-hmm. One of the ways to actually recycle waste is to convert the organic waste to either manure and energy and food. And this is actually through what we call the black soldier fly, right. Where, for example, women come on board, use those insects, and then actually convert the waste, especially food waste, for mm-hmm. example. We know, by the way, in Kenya, we waste about 40% of the waste of the food, mm-hmm. From the food chain, from the farm all the way to the table, right. 40%. Mm-hmm. So if we can actually convert the organic waste, the food that we're actually doing, we're wasting, to actually something that can be actually useful, like the manure and also energy and money, for that matter, mm-hmm. then I think we can actually we are already doing something with the women on that. Right. And I think for sure, in Kenya, for example, we waste 72 billion through food waste. Mm-hmm. And I think we need to cut that. It's a lot. Yeah. You were crying the other day, you saw what was happening. People, mm-hmm. even the mandamano was about food, yeah. And we're actually wasting 72 billion, mm-hmm. The cost of the food that we actually wasting in a year, not in many years. You can imagine 72 billion. Mm-hmm. Now, coming back to what you asked, yeah. What are we doing with the children? Yeah. No, if we assure, or rather we ensure that the children that are in primary school, the children who are also even in, as early as the pre-unit, actually participate in conservation and also appreciating the issues to do with the environment, then this society will be okay. You see, you walk around, and the people who really do damage to the environment are the adults like me and you. What right. you do, you are driving along the road, you just throw things out. But the children look at us and see whether Fadia and me are actually doing the right thing. Yeah. And you see, one of the ways of learning is copying. Mm-hmm. And if, for example, the children see us doing wrong things, they'll also do the wrong things. Right. And therefore, what we are doing in Mama Doing Good is to bring the children as early as that, to ensure that they conserve. And that's why we have what we call FLAMA, the First Lady Masingara Award, that mm-hmm. we are going to launch on 7th. During the summit, African Climate Summit, mm-hmm. And we have now we are going to have children participating in award scheme where, for example, they will be given a theme, like for example, maybe they will be given to do a composition about climate change, how to conserve environment, for example, or something to do with transiting from biomass to clean cooking.
Right.
Then they can actually write a story. They can even do, a drawing and those kind of things. And we want to do it, you know, the model of music festival,
yes,
where you start from Mashinane, then you come to the sub-county, then county, then regional, and then national. And therefore, we want to ensure that 17 million students who are actually across the country can participate in that. And once they do that, they will be able to be selected. The best students come on board, and then they will be able to be selected nationally. They will have actually shown their case in terms of conservation. And then the best student will be taken to, conference of parties. Now this is COP28. Now, because we are doing this year, we shall take the best students now come next year to the next COP. And they will just, by doing that, we shall have actually, give them a lot of support and encouragement, and we shall have also brought in the issue of awareness creation. And the children, starting from nursery all the way to secondary school, would really participate in this. Don't you think? These issues, and as we do that, they also do tree growing in their schools. There is a part of it that you also, for you to participate, you should have planted this much of the trees, and it is followed. And I think with our M&E, in the next the 10 years His Excellency is talking about, we shall have achieved the 10% that we require in terms of tree planting and also awareness creation, and we shall have supported our country in terms of climate change mitigation and adaptation matters.
Right, definitely a very good way of setting foundation, especially with children. But let's talk about now policies and what you think governments should do. Now,
I think first of all, I want to say that in this country, we are not doing badly in terms of the issue of law and policies. We are there. We have MCA, we have Water Act, we have Environment Act, we have Children's Act, we have all of them.
Right.
We have the basic. In fact, we are. If you compare to other African countries, for example, Kenya is ahead. Do you know, for example, that we are even among the best or the first countries to do Climate Change Act of 2016, while others are not done. Right. So we are doing well in terms of that. The issue that you should be asking me is, what is the problem? The problem is implementation. We are not implementing. There are people or other agencies that have been given to implement. They have been given to do this and all that. But what we are doing is that we have the law, but it's in the shelf.
Why is it not being implemented?
That is now the problem that we really need to change. We need to have what you call the mindset of the implementing agencies, because they are there. If for the issue of waste management, for example, issues to do with, for example, waste management, we have a law. What you call the Sustainable Waste Management Act. Why we need that to be implemented, so that you, as a person, as Fadi and I, at home, you don't throw waste. They can be collected from there, they can be segregated, and they can be taken to the right place, so that we can avoid the issues of Dandora and the likes. So it's just a question of the counties, the issue of the agencies implementing this. And I think I want to say that during this era of His Excellency the President William Ruto, with the kind of bottom up and his agenda in terms of transformation, I think a lot will be done and a lot will be effective. But as for now, we really need to do a lot of work. We need to pull up our socks and move on, because most of our legal and policies that we have, other countries are borrowed. They have come here to borrow those ones. What do? They go outside there, and what do? They implement. And you find, for example, MCAs leave Kenya and do what you call benchmarking. There is something wrong with that.
Why do you, that's my question was, why do you think that?
So that's why I'm saying that it's a question
of corruption or there's no discipline.
I would want to say that I think mindset. We are good in doing this, but then it comes, tomorrow we procrastinate these kind of things, and then at the end of the day again we don't do it. And another thing is, again, they are also in the past we have actually seen, for example, things not done very well in terms of you saw, for example, if it comes to the issue of implementing something, it is done halfway, and after that a lot of resources would have been used, and nothing coming out of that. But I think we need to have, what we call a change of our software. The way we need to think as people of Kenya. Yeah. We have seen what is happening, for example, in Singapore, what happened in South Korea, what happened in these other countries. I think for us, we are there. We might have been late to reach there, but I think God's time is the best. Put in the work.
Yeah. Okay, my final question to you now is, what do you expect in the upcoming summit? What are you expecting to happen, to be done?
Thank you so much. I think with the African Climate Summit, we want to thank His Excellency the President for bringing it to Kenya. By the way, it has been there for long, but no country has ever taken an initiative to host it. But when His Excellency the President found himself as the chair of the climate committee of AU, then what you call chaos, he decided to take the bull by the horn and ensure that he brings it to Kenya. And I think for us, it's a platform that people of Kenya and Africa will showcase their climate technologies, financing, and all addressing also issues to do with adaptation. And for example, as Mama Doing Good, we are going to showcase what we are doing, and just like all other Kenyans who are also going to be there. And then again, we are saying, from the African point of view, we are going to COP28 in Dubai, in the next 1 or 2 months. What we want is to ensure that what's happening in ACS or African Climate Summit is to bring Africans together. Let's talk together. Let us not blame ourselves. By the way, we are low emitters. The people who emit a lot of emissions in terms of the greenhouse gases that cause climate change, you know them. They are not in Africa. And therefore, and even if in Africa, it's a very small percentage. So, but we feel the pinch because of the drought, the floods, and all that. So we want to ensure that we talk one language, so that when we go to COP, we are talking as Africa, not as Kenya.
Thank you very much. Thank you. That is Dr. John Chuma, of course, the CEO of Mama Doing Good, telling us about what they're doing in regards to climate change and, of course, women empowerment. Well, that's where we wrap News Center. Thank you for watching. My name is Fatia Mohammed Noor. Your Nairobi is up next.